From the console to the tabletop, Skyrim belongs to the Nords. We're getting into basically tabletop battle games for you that are set in the Elder Scrolls, basically Elder Scrolls 5, Skyrim. So as we open this up, we see what we get. We get a bunch of the punch outs and everything that we'll be using for this game, like a bunch of different symbols and stuff. So this video isn't necessarily going to be like a too in-depth video. This is just more like a usual like product review to kind of like showcase, hey, this is what's in this. Is this something worth buying? Is this something that you could quite possibly get? So we have like basically like the quests and everything. So the quest book, which basically gives you like the gameplay, like what you'll be doing. So as we do like a quick flip through, it gives you like the, in a sense, like the scenarios that you're going to be using, like the stuff that you can do. And of course they do show like terrain templates. Like you could get like a clear hexagonal like a battle map, kind of substitute for that, or you could get like the battle maps and stuff that you can get through like your local gaming store, like for that would technically be for D&D or Pathfinder or something, but they would kind of like a dual as something for this and everything. So you kind of go through like the whole like a scenery of the quest themselves with this. So kind of doing like a quick flip through of the quest. Now kind of haphazardly doing this. So you can get miniatures, as you can see, for this game. And so you have like three different, like in a sense, factions. You have the Imperials, the Stormcloaks, and basically the Draugr. And so those are sold separately. And like I want to say that like a local gaming stores, they're like $50 or so. They're not necessary because like you could use like these punch outs and kind of tokens and stuff as like substitutes. But like it's just something else that you could use to build upon your game. So now we got like this scenario, escape from Helgen. So basically we're starting off with the beginning of the Skyrim game itself and everything. So another scenery book that kind of like helps you start the game off. And of course, once you get into the cards, you'll see like a bunch of the characters that are actually part of Helgen and everything. So you basically play as characters from Skyrim, pretty much. And so you can see like a whole scenery book, like to start off the game with the Elder Scrolls 5 right into the tabletop and everything. So then we get into like the actual rule book. So this actually gives you, as it entails, the whole rules to play. So it gives you like a decent scale of like the different stuff that you see in Skyrim as well. So this is like an in-depth, like it goes in-depth on like the actual cards that you're going to be using, that like I'll showcase as soon as I'm through with this. So it showcases like, okay, the different like dice like you'll be using. So why not show the stuff as I'm going through? So it'll show like okay, here are the dice, and here's like how the different ones you use. Here's some of the tokens that you use. So it gets into the different abilities. So as I go through like kind of these disorganized cards and everything. So for instance, you can see here the character cards. It goes through all that, the different abilities, like their attributes, abilities, and like stuff that they can use. So pretty much like a dual-sided. So you can see here Ralof, one of the ones you start off with like in the cart and in Skyrim, and then like one of the other Stormcloaks that you'll come across, Imperial Mage, and everything is double-sided. So Hadvar, he's the one that help, like if you choose the Imperial side or whatever, if you choose escape with him instead of like Ralof here, you can escape with the Hadvar. So those are like the different ones, character cards. So gets into stuff like that, and of course goes into further descriptions like skill dice results and icons. So then like it actually showcases like the skills that you need for like basically these 6 skills right here. Gets like into like a idea of like a visual of like, okay, how like you use like bows and stuff for combats. gives you even more descriptions on like a different like a terrain, different like a heights and like a different like instead of just stand up and be like rock'em sock'em robots, it gives you like options on how to do that. So goes through the actual like phases of the combat and everything, and like and how to do that. Gives you ideas on like the actions that you can take, and of course like another good thing like this. This is not just Warhammer, but like a BattleTech is another good big tabletop like a war game in essence. So you could say this is like those in a war game, but set in Skyrim and everything. So this whole like book goes through like all the like different actions and cards, and like gives you everything you need to know to basically bring Skyrim to the tabletop as like a not just like in a sense a role playing game, but like a battle game. Like I use the Warhammer and BattleTech examples, so it's kind of like a that type of a game and everything. So you can see like the miniatures that you can get. That now again, you don't necessarily have to get the miniatures because they can be kind of expensive. Like I said, like $50 a pop or whatever. So this game could get quite expensive, but like so is Warhammer, and BattleTech can be quite expensive too with all the miniatures that you can end up getting and everything. So, but like you can save money by just using tokens and everything. But like if you're really into something like this, then like you're definitely going to be getting the miniatures and everything. So goes as you can see as we go through like each of these small chapters, each highlights something different, like this, magic spells, the archery stuff, like dragon shouts. Since you like as you see have seen, you play pretty much as the dragonborn himself or herself, or however whatever type of character like you like to play in like the Skyrim game. So here you can see getting into like the terrain, like all the ideas of like stuff that you're going to come across, like pitfalls and traps and stuff like that. And then like we go further into like all the ideas and stuff that you're going to be like again run this game effectively. So now I'm kind of like the best way to learn is to use this and kind of play through as you're going, kind of like a play test instead of just sitting here like you can sit here and read the rules and everything, but that's one thing. But actually doing it could be like another thing. So it's like it's sort of like learning about a sport, but then actually playing the sport type of deal. So like that's why like I'm big advocate of like when you take a rule book like this, you want to take it and kind of like hey use this as you're playing. So like oh you can be like oh, okay, so this is how this works. Oh okay, that's how that works, instead of just reading the rule book and then getting like oh hey how does this work, and then like you have to flip through and kind of oh okay so that's how it's worked. That's why I'm an advocate for doing this kind of like play as you go and learn as you go, so that way it's like a much, in my opinion, a much faster way to like learn about it. So here you can see we are actually getting into like the actual races that you find in like the the computer game, the Xbox game or whatever. I know I got Skyrim when it first came out. I had an Xbox 360 and I got it there. So you see the different factions that you can play as, like Adventurers, Imperial Legion, Stormcloaks, Bandits, neutral models, and stuff like that. So then we get into like the actual like equipment and stuff, and then it gives you like a index for like all the tokens that like you have. So then a quick reference, so that the index gives you like a quick reference on like all these tokens and what they stand for and everything. So and like this book also helps you go through like now to showcase like all these different cards and stuff. So like as you flip through this book and everything, you see we got like the spell cards, and so like the backhand, and so we see like all the different types of like spells that you find in the game. So it's pretty much Skyrim verbatim, just instead of on like a computer or like a console, we see it actually in the tabletop here. So we got like the different like upgrades for items. We got the different like as these are kind of like mismatched cards for like your typical like quests and everything. So like different ideas and concepts for quests. You got like event cards, like you pull one of these and like an event happens. What do you know? A quest card that's out of order. So good old all these event cards. Flip them over to kind of like showcase some of the different stuff you can come across with these events. Good old treasure, even more quests. So like kind of showcase some of the different treasure, like the exact same stuff you find in the game itself, like the ebony claw, the Elder Scroll itself, the Augur of the Staff of Magnus, through like the Mage Guild quest line. So like of course, and then we got actual like different like cards for like actual like instance like monsters and stuff that you'd come across. So like you're basically your adversaries. So instead of using like you'd have like these big cards for like your team, and then these cards would be like your adversaries. And you just got kind of like a adversary. So even more monsters and stuff. Adventurers, Imperial Legion, Stormcloaks, Draugr, Beasts, Monsters. And it gives you like information on all of that stuff and how like to play this game. So again, I'm not necessarily going full like on detail on every single one of this. This is just more of like an introductory. Hey, this is what you're getting in this game. This is what this game is all about, and like to kind of showcase, hey, look, is this something that you'd be interested in buying? And like if you don't want to necessarily go the route of like tabletop role-playing games like Dungeons and Dragons or Pathfinders, and you're not necessarily into Warhammer, but you are into like you've played the Elder Scrolls, like not only Skyrim but like the previous ones like Oblivion, Morrowind, like Arena and Daggerford, or wherever the first two are. So here we can see like upgraded ranged weapons and like a upgrade weapon, and then here's some of like the upgrade ranged and everything as a loss for words. So it gives you like cards for like upgrades and stuff. So this is basically the in a sense Elder Scrolls Call to Arms, basically board game, war game, however you want to do it. So this is like the top part and everything, and so then you can see on the back here, pretty much like when you pick up the box, it tells you all about it. Pretty much showcases like all the stuff that I just went through, what you're getting in this. And kind of, again, of course, it tells you the contents right here, plus visual, so you can like, okay, this is like, okay, this is what it's telling me about, and this is what it's actually talking about over here. This is giving me the kind of like an overview of like what this is, and this is basically what this whole video is about. Just kind of give like a quick overview. This is what you're getting when you pick up this. Now again, I said you do have an ability to get the actual miniatures for like that stuff like this, because like trying to find the there we go. It showcases here on the back of the quest book the actual miniatures that you can pick up. But of course, I said that you get those are sold separately and everything. You don't need them because you could use like the tokens, or like another cheap way to do is use coins like quarters, nickels, dimes, and stuff like that. So that's like another way you could kind of get around it by saving money by not picking up these. But definitely having these miniatures is would be worth it if this is definitely something that you're into. So if someone wants to like see a video on me doing about these miniatures, let me know, and I will eventually pick them up and be like, hey, look, here's these miniatures I was talking about. So here is the video for like a good old like I call it a war game like Warhammer, but like it's still just like a tabletop miniature game. It's called Elder Scrolls Call to Arms. It's based on the Skyrim computer game or console game, however you came across it when it first came out. So if you're into like Elder Scrolls like I was and am, then definitely pick this up. And like for like I want to say I got this for like $50 and everything. It's definitely well worth it, and it pretty much give you countless hours of fun with your friends.